All right, all right, all right. Let's go. Up here in the top left-hand side of this map, it is, of course, the big boy himself, the man with the micro, the most powerful hands in StarCraft. It is Micro Jackson, Byun. And he is, of course, playing here in this grand finals match of the Cheesadelphia World Championship. Down in the bottom right-hand side, it is Kaiser Gaming Solar. Solar smashing his way through to this grand finals. A bit of a surprise result. A lot of people not expecting that. But yeah, I think Byun comes in as a bit more of a favorite recently. He's been on fire. Byun and Trap, probably the two best players in the world over the last few months. I think they've been just more consistent than anybody else in all the big tournaments. And their builds have been awesome. Especially in this matchup, Byun is fascinating because he doesn't build a Reaper first that often. He very often skips it, goes straight for the reactor, builds a Marine first. He's got so many different weird Hellbat timings and just odd openings, little twists on quick third command centers and things. So I'm very curious to see exactly what Byun does to open up. Solar, on the other hand, he looks pretty standard so far. Has the hatch first. He's got the Overlords kind of looking around for proxy barracks as well as snaking his way across. Where has he clicked this Overlord? I think maybe he's just going into this high ground. Oh, no, he's going to sit out there. You can see there the marker. That's where this Overlord's being told to move. And the SCV will come across nice and early for this SCV. Sees the Overlord coming and will, of course, just check that it's a hatchery first. It is going to be a Reaper opening, so Byun being a bit of a normie in this game. Of course, the last time he played Serral was quick to punish him for some of those greedy openings, even mixing a one-base Ravager in there. And I think Byun is so good in this matchup right now. Probably doesn't want to take too many risks in his openings. His ability to just out-micro Zerg players and overwhelm them with the raw power of Marine focus fire is on an entirely another level. That factory's coming in now as well. Second gas straight away. So no super quick third command center. Solar has snuck a drone out to his third. Reaper comes in, is going to skirmish with these Zerglings. Ooh. Gonna keep going in there. Getting a bit of damage on a drone. Love to kill a Zergling, but look at that. Micro from Solar, pulling back the weak ones. At this point, just disengages with the Zerglings. And a quick Spore trick. He knew if he got bounced by the grenade, he would get another hit off, the Reaper would, and kill the drone before he got a chance to do the Spore trick. So we had to do it before that landed. And actually forcing 6 Lings out, so not bad. The Reaper forcing an extra 2 Lings out. Does defend the Creep Tumor. Oh, the fudge? I think that was a misclick. I think Byun thought the Reaper was going to click up there and accidentally rallied it in the wrong direction. A silly little mistake there from Byun, which he's got to be a bit annoyed at. Because this sort of opening where you're going fast Banshees behind the aliens, you want to keep a bit more momentum. Having the Reaper down here, delaying these Creep Tumors, picking 1 or 2 of these off is really helpful. As it is, Solar gets a free pass on his early creep. He even gets a Zergling to go across the map to spot what's going on. I think he's just going to sacrifice that to see if it's Hellions or not. Byun actually drives right past it. And then he's like, wait a second. Oi! Oi! Does roast it. So no knowledge of what the enemy build is just yet from Solar. 3 minutes 40 and still not back on gas. But because he's left 1 worker mining gas this whole time, I think that's fine. Minerals are the big focus in early game in this matchup. And the Hellions do take a little bit of damage there. 32 hit points getting chipped off that Hellion in return for a Creep Tumor. And back on gas just now at the 4-minute mark. So very late to go back on gas for Solar. But why? Because he's using that minerals now to drone up that third base. He's got a few extra Zerglings that he's built for safety in case the Hellions try to dive. Lots of Queens, and now going for a lair in the main. Solar's a big fan of the lair 3 gas way of playing. So getting up quick Bane speed. Whether or not he's going to go Mutas, he really likes the quick Baneling speed. And especially against someone like Byun, that's almost like something you just have to do. Because if you don't have Baneling speed when his first push comes, and you go, it's fine, I'll just outnumber him. If you don't get a perfect surround, he'll just wriggle out of any Zerglings, focus down the Banelings that are waddling forwards. Your Queens are too slow to kind of deal with his stim pushes, and it can get really awkward. 1 Zergling snakes around the north. Going to look for a scout, and it will confirm some things. Of course, his Overlord already saw that Cloak was on the way, so Spores are ready. That Queen intercepts for Solar, getting a bit of damage done on that Banshee. preemptively pulls the drones away. Well done by Solar. He's got a Spore finishing in the main just in time as well. Perfect preparation. Baneling Nest is almost finished. Lair's done, so Baneling Speed can be coming in next. And there's already an Overseer morphing out front. Hellions do a scan, take out a few creep tumors. The Queens will have to replace that, and they're very quick to do so, but Hellions dart back in and trade a Hellion for a creep snipe. Banshee finds an angle on the back of the natural. Overseer, where is it? It's going to the front right now. Banshee grabs 2 workers, rotates back towards the main, but it's almost dry on energy. Ooh, there's actually no Queen in the main, though. No Queen. Oh, he holds positions a little bit too far out with that Banshee, though. He does shuffle it down, so it starts to hit the drones, but a good pullback by Solar. Cleans that one up. This Banshee, though, comes in on this side, and he's just hold positioning there. Gets a few workers. 4 drones with that Banshee. He does want to save it, though. Ooh, the Hellions are going for broke right now. The Banshee does go down in the top. So that was the cost of him focusing so much on the Hellions, but 12 worker kills. A very nice piece of damage there. You can see overall more units lost for the Zerg, but both of those valuable Banshees do go down. And that definitely does cost. By the way, when I show that, sorry guys, how's the logo? The logo's blocking it a little bit, isn't it? My bad. This is a new little piece of equipment we've got with the latest battle summary mod. And I'll just turn that logo off for the next few ones there. We absolutely love AMD, but don't want to obscure any of the statistics. And then we go 3 barracks going up to 4 barracks. Where's the 5th racks? It's only now going down, so a bit haphazard with his production. It's 1-1's on the way. Armory will be timing out nicely with that here in the natural wall-off. Hellions still alive. They're going to sync up well with his first Marine tank push, but Solar, that Baneling Speed, like I said, is almost ready, and he's got 8 mutas on the way. This is a dangerous scenario for Byun. Those mutas are incredibly powerful. Does send 2 Marines to clean up the Zergling. Hellions clean up another Ling there. Once those mutas hit the field, if the Banelings connect with the Marines, like, Byun cannot afford to get routed. He does not really, truly realize what he's up against. This is Byun's vision. He doesn't know about this massive Lingbane muta that's ready to come in. He's trying to get some damage done here, trying to find an opening. Oh, he's going to need spectacular micro. I think the Marines might be too deep. They're going to get flanked. They're going to get flanked. Where do you even get to as those Marines? The Banelings close in. He's got to boost up and get out. He abandons the position. Interestingly, the mutas focus on killing the tanks rather than chasing the medevacs. I think he knows the rally will come out and join with us a bit too early. And that fight happened pre-combat shields. A big mistake against muta Zergling. Against these sort of armies, you've got to fight with combat shields. And honestly, if they commit to that many units off just 61 drones, you got to be really, really careful. If they take their 4th as late as Solar did, they go for that gas explosion. You've got to play a bit more passive as the turret. I like the idea of posturing, pressuring, but you don't actually want to be sieging tanks forward or anything like that. And right now, it's a pure Marine army. Anybody else would shit their pants and run home. Byun, though, is an absolute madman who's like, yeah, pure Marine versus Bane Speed muta Zergling. Like, no worries, I'll just do that. Yes, he's got a 1-1 upgrade advantage, but as I said, this is a dangerous moment. And Solar did not drone at all. He jumps on top. He's got overwhelming numbers. Notice the mutas are focusing on those medevacs. They change targets to the Marines now. Marines gunning down as many Banelings as they can, but there's just too many. The mutas take out the tank before it can do anything. The Marines wedge themselves in that nook behind the depots. At the front, this drop did come back, but those Marines get surrounded. 8 of them do get to the back of the mineral line, but look at that. Banelings in the mineral line. The turret and 16 workers go down. Incredible defense from the back here by Byun. But he's trying to fight an entire army with just scraps, dribs and drabs. And he overcommits there. GG, well played. All right, down here in the bottom right-hand side, he just lost game 1. Can he bring it back? It is Byun. Going a bit on autopilot in that game, not realizing that his opponent was out on the map. Byun assumed that his opponent was going to be building lots of drones after the early defense, and forgot that his opponent very well had the option to just pounce. Very mobile composition that has some good aggressive opportunities. Remember, there was no upgrade started in that last game. If the Terran turtled up and defended, if he realized that the drones weren't being built, then it would have been a big commitment for nothing. But I think this player up here realized his opponent just gets in that aggressive mindset and sometimes doesn't double check if it's the right thing to do. Up in the top left, it's Kaiser Gaming Solar. Of course, this is a best of 7 grand final, so lots more games to prove their power But I do like that quick tech build from Solar. I wonder if he sticks with that throughout, or if we see a few Roach Ravager Ling all-ins, some mix-ups there. I think the opening that Byun did, where you just go Hellions, Banshee, doop-de-doop, 4-minute third command center, that build is just not amazing versus the build that Solar did. Even though he got some worker kills, I think he lost his Banshees a little bit too promptly. I do think if he kept the Banshees alive, maybe Byun could have done a little more in that game. But felt like he didn't quite realize what he was up against. And I would like to see him go back to the old quick third command center. It's just such a good build at the moment. I so rarely see it die to an all-in. I feel like when you're good as a Byun, a Clem, a Maru, I think at least half your games should involve a third command center before getting the second gas geyser. The classic Terran Scout. Have you gone spawning pool before hatchery? He sees the hatch was about to finish, immediately sends that SCV home. And of course, checking these Overlord patterns, you see one Overlord went south and then across the map, getting ready to sacrifice for a scout. The other Overlord has just gone straight through here. So both of them kind of looking for proxy barracks, not finding anything. And yet again, another Reaper opening. So Byun here, not going too wild. It's actually an identical opening to last game. He's got a very quick second gas. So he will not grant my wish. Now, this is safer against a lot of early attacks from Zerg, and that's maybe what he's expecting a bit more of. Maybe saying, small adjustment, and I win that last game. Don't really need to change everything. Does get a Zergling kill, as well as forcing a Spore Trick, so nicely done there. Doesn't show the Spore Trick on this, but that does cost money. Mining time, as well as some other stuff. Ooh. Okay, Overlord doesn't really see that much. Technically, there could be a third command center tucked away. Starport is on the way now. He does take the second gas in that main base. Wonder if that Overlord's going to come back in for a sacrifice now. It's already taken a lot of damage, so it won't get too deep. Oh, nice creep spread. Solar prioritizing into the creep towards the third base. The Reaper tries to skirt around. The Zerglings are trying desperately to protect the tumor. And they do keep it alive. Well done by Solar. Great micro. First two Hellions are on the map. Starport's going to swap over for a bit of Banshee production as well. Solar here, still off gas at 3:30. As we said, he likes to put those back on pretty late. Just get the initial mineral boost. Wants to get that third mineral line going nice and early. And the Overlord's going to come back in. It needs to turn around, Solar, yeah. Because he knows it's not going to see anything at this point. He might as well just keep it alive. No point throwing its life away for nothing. More Zerglings snaking out across the map. It's a pretty late Ling speed. Of course, Solar opting for that quicker third that is all the rage right now. People liking to get that 27 third hatch, then an Overlord, then Ling speed, only after all of that. Gonna see probably a command center, but maybe a third depot. Oh, it's Hellbat Banshee. Old school. Old school. Not my favorite build, but if there's one guy who's good with his Hellbat attacks, it is Byun. This is going to delay his third command center a lot. That means he is not missing a beat on his Hellion production. He's just going to keep pumping those out. And the Reaper Hellion is still having a poke. He sees a Baneling Nest start, but that's not going to be ready for this first Hellbat morph. So Byun says, cool, we've got a window. There will not be Banelings ready against this. And right now, how many Zerglings have we even got? 6 Queens, 12 Zerglings. That's not really what you need. No Spine Crawler. Spores aren't even ready just yet. That Banshee's going to fly right in there. Hellions dancing around. The Banshee. Ooh, Cloak's not ready. Cloak's not ready. Finally gets Cloak. And the Hellions come on in here. They're going to morph. Oh, they don't want to take too much damage pre-Hellbat morph. Okay, the Banshee flies in the back of the natural. And, oh, he's going to try and click on the Zerglings. Oh, I don't know if this is a bit too aggressive from Byun. He's trying to get past the Queens. He's just trying to do a bit of a run by, realizing the Zergling count's low. He's not even going to morph into Hellbats. And you know what? I don't think this is actually enough damage. Wait, it's not done yet. The Queens aren't here yet. Can take out a few of these drones. That's going to be nice. 2 drones stacking in. Transfuse on a drone for Solar. Another transfuse on a drone. He desperately wants to not take damage here. 4 workers go down, but there's still a Banshee in the top. A Banshee here behind this. No Hellions at all. So he's ceded map control in terms of the Hellions, but the Banshees are up. And the Spire was very delayed during all that, only starting at 5:45. So the Banshee's going to find a little bit of follow-up damage. poking, prodding, seeing what they can do. That Banshee that's been forgotten about in the main, just waiting to gather a bit more energy before it comes back in. And back here at home, up to 5 barracks. The double upgrades are on the way for Byun. The 3rd command center is finished. So he's progressing through to that next stage, and it's a very similar lineup from the last game. He's done a bit of damage. I mean, that last battle, I should have pressed that a bit earlier, hey. He ended up getting 5 drones. And I mean, we can see the total units lost. He killed a lot of Zerglings. Overall, more units lost for the Zerg, but pretty big commitment for the Terran. And as long as the creep spreads out now, I think it's good for Solar. Starts the double Evo chamber, obviously going to be behind on upgrades, but with the Mutas and the Bane speed to control the map, that's something you kind of accept. You're going to have more punishing units. If the Terran decides to push into you in this scenario, they are exposing themselves to getting gunned down by the Mutas. So it gives you more map control, which means more creep spread. So when they do have 2-2 in a giant army and they don't care so much about your Mutas and your Bane speed, well, by that point, you've got most of the map covered in creep, and that buys you time to catch up on your 2-2, to catch up by getting up to Hive and things like that. So it's all about this period of the game where Solar has grabbed map control. He needs to use it and use it well. So far, defending the Banshees quite well. This is, of course, the last Banshee on the map. Oh, Byun, don't lose it. Oh, a mistake there. If he just hit Cloak on that, it would have won that fight. And he pushes through the middle of the map, but he doesn't end up committing to it. A few Zerglings, just a tiny commitment. This is basically free. That's always good. You should always be doing moves like this. Force him to pull SCVs, force him to stim his Marines and fight against this. You know, pick off a few workers. And behind this, you've got Banelings, you've got Zerglings, another tank Marine push. Byun's got to be really careful with this, dude. Mutas are on the wrong side of the map, though. They can't help defend. Ooh, he loses another Queen. Solar. Okay. He's going to threaten this. Muta's going to the main base. There's no turret. The Mutas find an undefended mineral line. Solar, as long as he keeps his 4th up on the other side of the map, this is worth. He loses 1 Muta. Can he get the missile turret? No, the turret does finish. That's very important for Byun, who now he could rebuild the turret in the main and do what he can. The Mutas are going to come home, but Byun says, well, I know they're not here yet. He's going to try to do this. His stim will run out in a moment. Remember, Shields is not done yet. The Slingbane Muta should be able to seal the deal against this, but oh, good tank shots so far. Oh, the Marines are gunning down all the Banes. He gets rid of the tanks, but Byun holds the position. He's got more Marines and tanks coming. Dude, he might actually just be able to spiral this. Solar, just not quite enough units. I actually think his Mutas should have probably stayed in on the other side of the map. And at this point, he's bleeding into this. He should have given up this 4th base and pulled back. He's actually fighting Byun on his terms. He's overcommitting to defending this base. Massive overcommitments from Solar. He's saying, I will defend this base or die trying. And I think it's the latter. It's the die trying. His Mutas are getting gunned down by these 1-1 Marines. 1-1 finishes for Solar now. But after he takes a bad fight, no Ling Bane flank, no Mutas coming in from behind and getting on the tanks in that engagement, and down double upgrades. Combat shields finishing in the nick of time. Well played by Byun. All right. The series is tied up, and now the action is starting. Run into a similar build from the opponent, but this time defended okay, despite Mutas. When Mutas fly into your base, you're meant to panic and freeze and die. He was like, nah, no worries. We'll just run our SCVs away and keep attacking. Because my name is Micro Jackson, and I can wriggle my way out of just about any situation. Up in the top right, needing just a few more units, and I think a bit better positioning to surround and capitalize on that push. It really is. If you get like 4 Banelings and 10 Zerglings flanking that army, the Marines just have to pick up and boost out of there. They can't punish you that hard. So Solar there, I think, a little messy in his execution in that last game. If he keeps playing this Mutiling Bane style, he's going to have to clean it up and really make sure he doesn't give Byun any way to micro out of the engagements. It's Solar. This is, of course, Oxide. And these Korean Zergs always very studious with their overlords, looking for those proxy barracks. And at this point, I wonder how Solar approaches this series. I like that it's been the same build 2 games in a row. I wouldn't mind just seeing more of the same again and again from Solar. I think he was in a perfectly fine position after the opening in that last game. I think he defended everything just fine. Yes, the Hellion stayed alive for a while. Yes, the Banshee's got a few drones here or there, but I think Solar was in a totally fine position. I also think there's something to be said for giving up your 4th base. If you're playing Mutiling Bane and you're not ready to take the fight, especially when you're at that double upgrade disadvantage, taking a 5th excuse me, ahead of time and preparing to give that base up. If Solar... So imagine he was on this map and this was the 4th that he was losing. Why just throw your army away into their push? Take another base there. Keep your mutas in Byun's main base. Keep picking off workers. And just accept that you're going to go back to 3 base for a little bit. I know that sucks. It's not great. But if you're in their main base killing SCVs, the Terran's not in a great position either. So I think that's definitely something you've got to be willing to give up. A misjudge from Solar there. And I think maybe against a lot of other players he makes that work, but not against Byun. Byun's micro was too good. He wriggled those Marines out of trouble too quickly. It's a frustrating feeling as a Zerg when you feel you got mutas, you got Bane speed, you've got all the tools. But there is something when you play a player of this caliber where they're just too disgustingly good. And speaking of Byun and his clever builds, it's a Marine into Factory Reactor. I love this opening. Look how Quark... I don't even know what I was trying to say. Look how fast that Factory... I think I tried to mix half of Factory and fast. I got confused. That Factory is so fast. The Marines are building very quickly. And it looks like we'll probably be seeing... I would imagine... maybe a Hellbat push. We'll follow it up, a delayed one. But it looks for now like it's just going to be like the Marine drop. Oh, yeah, right. So there'll be a Marine drop that goes into the main, and then there'll be 3 Hellions that dive in the 3rd in the natural. So what you're doing is you're getting the magic number of Hellions just one at a time to one-shot workers. Now, this is the same thing. You guys see me do this in TVP. This is essentially my TVP build, just skipping the Reaper. 3 Hellions, magic number to one-shot drones, the one-shot Zerglings as well. And then you've got, you know, your 7-8 Marines and a medevac, which is just this mobile problem. It flies in. Oh, Overlord, kill. Oh, Overlord, kill. Flies in the main. If they're not there, or if they come in with a few Zerglings, you wedge them in the minerals, you kill quite a few units. So it's a really nice, flexible opening pressure that Byun has been really doing more and more in the recent months, and I love to see him mix it in there. I don't like it when it's predictable, but because he's done a more standard opening 2 games in a row, a good way to do it. 7 Marines coming over, cancels that add-on, swaps the Factory, and those 3 Hellions need to get driving, boy. Get over there. He's got to join that up. It's the Hellions combining with the Marine drop that makes it so powerful. Solar does spot the medevac. Let's go to Solar's camera. I don't think he noticed it. We're on Solar's camera. Solar did not notice it. He only caught a glimpse of that. Spreading creep in his main, which will help against it. Zergling Scout not seeing anything. The drop enters the main. We're on Solar's camera. He's a bit slow to react. He's like, oh, it's the Marine drop. Ah, shit. His queens. None of them in position. Has to pull those drones away. Marines. Oh, they focused on an Overlord, but then they changed targets. But here we go. The Hellions darted on the 3rd base. He scrambles to pull the drones away. He avoids big losses so far. He also doesn't have any exposed Overlords, so good positioning by Solar to anticipate this sort of opening. He sees it. It's a Banshee Hellion. Follow up behind this as well. Byun's like, F you. Builds a single Marine to kill that Overlord very slowly. It's got to be annoying. That wall is open, by the way. All right, the Marine drop still picking things off, and an Armory is there. It's going to be a follow-up Hellbat attack. Baneling speed is still 20 seconds from finishing. So once again, if he just morphs Hellbats off creep and walks in, I'd like to see that from Byun. Byun keeps wanting to morph Hellbats on top of the enemy units, but it becomes dangerous. Yeah, this is a much better morph, and he does that. Baneling Nest is not ready. He scans, he sees the Lings. His wall-off is complete at home. They can't really counterattack. 2 Hellions come in. They're going to get surrounded. Oh, I can't believe they managed to wriggle to safety, dude. Wow. The Banshee joins in. Those queens are in trouble. Baneling's morphing on the left. These Lings here trying to lure the Hellbats away, but not being particularly effective just yet. That Spore does zone out the Banshee, so Byun separates it, puts it on hold position. The Hellbats and Marines are going to start trying to gun down these queens. Those queens are out of transfuse. I think if Byun focuses on that mineral line, he can win this game. I think he can do massive damage to that mineral line, but he does lose those Hellbats. He's going to have to fall back for now. He's trying to just keep the efficiency. He doesn't want to overextend by diving on a mineral line. And you know what? So far, he's looking pretty good. Byun there, killing a lot of minerals, and he maintains pressure. This is one of the most powerful things that truly expert Terran players do. It's they do damage, they trade well, they force a huge response, but then they keep the units alive so that it's not over. The Zerg can't just go back to, okay, fix my injects, fix my Overlords, spread my creep. There's no creep tumor on this side. Solar's desperate, like, shit, where are my upgrades? I haven't started Bane speed. I don't have gas for my Spire. Okay, so he's trying to take gases. He's trying to catch back up. He's trying to do those tasks, and bam, Byun comes in, kills a fresh tumor. Look at this, Banshee's flying the main. So it's this non-stop disruption, and this is what Byun is an expert at. It's all about breaking the cycle, breaking the rhythm, breaking the comfort zone of the Zerg. He doesn't make things easy for you. He stays unpredictable, and he keeps poking and prodding you. And this is why Soul's having a hard time. Look, he moves up here. A queen goes in. These banshees are getting a lot of drone kills, and he may lose them both now. Oh, look at that. The queens got stuck. Two of the queens were pushing against each other, fighting to get through the mineral line. Because of that, both queens get out. Both banshees, sorry, get out. And, dude, this is devastating. 8 drones and a queen for nothing. Behind this, the third CC is floating out. 5 barracks is up. 1-1, more than halfway done. Double evolution chamber hasn't even started for the Zerg. And that's going to be a cancel on the 4th hatch just with the banshees. A kill! Soul is falling apart. Where are the extra hatcheries? He's so high on minerals. He needs to be taking an extra hatch right now. He's not going to be able to defend everything. And you know what? Byun doesn't even care about that base. He's going to push straight towards the 3rd. Now, this was Byun's downfall in map 1, pushing before combat shields. He doesn't even have 1-1 yet. But this is the level of pressure. He's almost like fainting like he wants to fight. He's going to run away the moment the Lingbane closes with his Marines. But look at this. Solar just seems so unprepared. He's like, well, maybe I can stand and fight. Trades 2 Hellbats for a whole bunch of units. Ooh, does stay a little deep there. But that tank blasts the last Baneling to pieces. And those Banshees fly back in the main. Another couple of workers going down. The Marines stimming forward. Soul is like, give me a moment. Just give me a moment. I need some time to get more Zerglings out. I'm low on lava, dude. But Byun will not give him that rest. Byun, pedal to the metal, wants to finish off Solar right here, right now. The Mutas are forced into direct action against the Marines. A terrible situation. And the pressure gets to Solar, just not able to rally a defense together. Byun crushing through to a 2-1 advantage. All right. Let's go into map number 4 of this series. It looks like he's hitting his stride. His momentum is looking good, but it's going to be a bigger map. Map which is a little harder to just roll over the Zerg. And already a slight mistake. Accidentally pulls the second SCV to build a depot. Down here, it's Byun. His SCV there bounces off that patch as well. So he hasn't doubled up on the northern patch. You can see he does it now. Byun there does fix that worker saturation. His opponent in the top right, another game that just kind of got a bit out of his control. This time, though, it really was the Hellbat pressure, I think, that got to him. He just didn't have his Baneling Nest in time. And against a Terran player like Byun, who I guess he went away from Hellbat timings for a few weeks, but it seems like he's back into it. I think a faster Baneling Nest solves a lot of your issues as Solar. It's either that or you've just got to build a lot more queens by default. I like that he wants to get the fast layer. He wants to go in this direction. But it really kind of depends on how those adjustments are made. Solar. So this is a rather big map. Lots of space side to side, left to right. Lots of area to cover. But these speed zones mean that armies can actually push across really quickly through the middle of the map. You've got to, of course, remember that there is a slight blocker there with destructible rocks. Once you open that up, it's a bit more wide open areas here. Speed zones on the left and right of the map as well. And there's the other destructible rocks. Interestingly, these overlords are checking the entire left of the map. They kind of doubled up on this. It felt like both overlords kind of went in the same direction. I'm surprised that Solar didn't send one overlord to the right. I guess he's just not expecting a proxy to be on the right side of this map. Of course, the meta kind of shifts in that. When Terrans get really creative with their proxies and... we were pointing out in the Byun Armani series that, like, against Armani, you can just proxy your barracks right in the middle, and he'll never see it. Because he goes so far around the edges, you put him just here, you'll never see him in any of his games. But it changes based on what's been happening in the meta. There's a little bit of a... I don't need to scout every position, but I can eliminate most of them, so it becomes a low percentage option for the Terran to get an unscouted proxy barracks rush going. Third hatch goes down. So remember, third hatch... Actually, he went Overlord before third hatchery this time, did Solar, which is, I would say, a very slight mistake there. But a few drones go up after that. Notice he's still not starting Zergling speed. And he'd actually pulled 2 workers off gas before hitting 100 and moved them to the natural. Because Solar knew he wasn't going to be starting link speed straight away. Ooh, Reaper goes for that, but Byun not able to get it, dude. Sorry, that was the Clem Armani series that I was referencing, not Byun Armani, by the way. A very good action-packed series as well, but definitely, I think, a little bit of a different one. Now, back to Hellion Banshee. I do feel that Solar had a good situation in Game 1. I think Game 2 as well. Solar sticks with what he's been doing. Doesn't play scared against Hellbat timings. He's going to be well set up to defend this. Creep Tumor survives. Good harassment by Byun, not finding any big avenues. This is a Hellbat timing, guys. We've got Marines and a medevac, and that armory's going to go down here. It's another Hellbat timing. Solar, I was saying, oh, look, it looks like a Hellion Banshee build. You better, it would be good if he just plays the greedy Baneling Nest in the lair again. No. Changing my mind, guys. Changing my mind. This is actually a Hellbat rush. It's going to be 3 or 4 Marines and a medevac. He's already got 3, so he's going to do the 4 Marine medevac. This is basically a classic 420 light 'em up build. Why 420? It's because you can hit your opponent at 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, which is why it's so powerful. Now, did he leave a Marine at home? Where is his other Marine? Oh, he cancelled it because he knew it wouldn't be ready in time for the medevac and he didn't want to delay. He's going to do a slightly later version of the build. I mean, I guess the original version was off a gas first. It was a slightly different build. It was a little bit more defenseless at home. With this one, you are keeping up Hellion production, getting ready for the Banshee transition. The medevac is there. The Hellions are arriving. Solar has 5 Queens, 11 Zerglings, and a whole lot of panic. His adrenaline is hitting the ceiling right now. It is pumping through his veins. He's got to spread the Queens out to limit the Hellbat splash, and great micro from Solar. Damage on the medevac. Great damage on the medevac, but he stopped focusing it. He's got to keep focusing it, but oh my god, that was just such a great arc of Queens. He pulled every Queen to the front and had a 6th Queen pop on the natural during the fight. Beautiful play there from Solar. Defends the first wave. His Baneling is still 13 seconds away, though. Byun could go in again. Already, he's picking off some of these units. And it's going to be a Hellion drop to follow this up. Uh-oh, Solar. Got to react quick. Where are those Zerglings? They're down in the natural still. Solar not watching the minimap. Get on up there. Solar! Solar's building spores. He's worried about the Banshee follow-up. Oh, no! I think he was looking at his Overlord Scout inside Byun's base. 6 drones, and the medevac just whisks them back to safety. Damage on a medevac for 6 drones. I'll take that trade any day. And there we go. The battle report does update there. 6 drones for nothing. Overall units lost tab, of course, looking good for Byun. Remember what I said, maintaining pressure is the scary thing. It's the thing that every Zerg player says, if you could just even, I would rather lose 10 more drones and have this just end. Clear your map presence up so I can spread creep, hit my injects, get my upgrades. Just let me get in my rhythm, let me do my thing. Byun says no. Byun says, fuck that, mate. Look, even though he knew there was Hellbats out, Solar did not make Banelings in time. Now he's taking a lot of damage. The medevac does go down. He's got to pull those Queens back. Those Zerglings should not be engaging this. So many transfuses that the Queens actually they just mama mode that shit. They stand their ground and punch those Hellbats in the face. I guess there was just enough Queen DPS. It worked out. Queen there will defend that Banshee. Solar hanging on here really bloody well. Split slings for a run by that command center. Mighty exposed. And there's nothing behind it. Dude, this is huge. If he clicks on that command center, Byun's in trouble. Oh, he's not clicking on it. He doesn't realize there's no units there. There's a great opportunity that's being missed. But look at that. Cloak got cancelled. The Banshee goes down. These Hellbats and Marines aren't doing much. Only 2 Marines coming down. If he clicked on that command center, I don't think the SCVs would be able to repair that very well. Solar missing a big opportunity while distracted by the Banshee. I really think he could have forced that command center to lift and forced the Hellions to all transform and run home. At the very least, he could have forced a little bit more repair time. A dangerous moment there for Byun. He realizes it as he's very low on Marines. This looks like a great opening for Solar. He's got Mutas on the way. 7 of them. Baneling speed. His 4th base is up. And I've talked earlier about how giving up a base is a really good way to play. He's got good creep on both sides of the map. I think if he takes a fast 5th, it avoids the problem of him taking that bad trade like he did on Lightshade in map 2. So if he would take a 5th base, I think this would be a legendary decision. I don't think he's going to do it. But let's see if he can set up that engagement a little bit better. Definitely feels like he's in an even better situation. He's up 20 supply right now. Solar, I think if Byun comes and fights him, he's gonna squish Byun's army. No combat shields, but there is a double upgrade advantage. Mutas are flying across the map, so similar to Lightshade, that's gonna happen. Solar didn't see him coming. Solar runs into the Hellions on the other side, does catch some of those Marines and Hellions. As I said though, you've got to be, especially if you go across the map with the Mutas, you've got to be willing to give up that base. That goes down, he doesn't cancel it, but that's because he's finding the mineral line on the other side of the map. Big damage for Solar. And Byun here now is pressing deep on creep. Baneling speed kicks in. There's no way he can push in any deeper. All of these depots taking big damage. Not quite going down, The Hellbats really keeping Byun alive, saving his bacon there. I talked about this earlier. If you're playing this style, really any style in modern TvZ, always having an extra hatch so that you can backstab, give up ground. That's the sort of game where Mutiling Bane thrives. That is the best way to play a Massling Bane or a Mass Mutiling Bane style, especially against a hard-pushing player like Byun. He's not going to play like Cure and just Widow Mine drop you and macro up. He's always going to be looking to push. That is just not Byun's style to rush to the Widow Mine drop. So I do think Solar missed an opportunity there. Now, he has a monstrous army, but he's got to set up a flank. He keeps hanging out in a big blob. This is some basic army management from Solar. I mean, I like this from Byun. He's getting ready to intercept a flank, but running at him in a blob is not the way to do this. And I feel like if Solar just rolls more Banes into these mineral lines, keeps probing, splits his army up, looks for a surround on just one of these halves, he can crush it. But Solar's playing a little bit scared. And this is, I mean, Byun right now is pressuring in a situation where he should be getting wiped from the map. The upgrades are even. Solar has a gigantic army. And there's what, 2 tanks and 3 Hellbats as anti-Zergling Baneling here? That's not going to cut it, dude. But Byun somehow manages to scare Solar off of 5th base, keep Solar sitting at home a little afraid. Solar's 4th does go up in the top left. The psychological impact, I think, of playing someone that's as vicious as Byun. It's easy to point these mistakes out sitting in my seat, but when you're looking down the barrel of Byun's Marines and Siege Tanks, his pushes on the map, it's hard to look at it in a real objective way because he wins fights that he shouldn't so often. His micro is so good. And you can see Solar giving him way more respect than he deserves. Ling Bane could be crashing into his other bases right now. Yes, there's Bio there right now, but these armies are periodically moving across the map. And Byun now is just set up in this backwards position. So it's like, hey, why were we massing army this whole time? We've made a crazy Ling Bane count, but we haven't been fighting with it. Now he's up to 82 workers. But to me, it feels like it was a missed opportunity where Byun should have had to turtle through those last few minutes. Ooh, he catches 2 mutas. Does Byun nicely done there. Solar's mutas are looking for more damage. Solar's still in a good position. It's just not capitalizing on an advantage. It's something you don't want to do against someone this good. The Ling Bane coming in from one big blob. If he came in from both sides, I think he could have wrapped around that. But this army needs to be pre-split. This is the same problem that Armani was running into against Clem, was the army running around in one big blob. Finally, Solar splits it off, but I think this should have happened minutes ago. I think that should almost be your base state, should be roaming 2 armies around so that you're always ready to backstab. You're always ready to swing in with a flank. For me, it feels like Solar's only done this after realizing plan A of run my blob into his army didn't work out. And I think that's a big mistake that a lot of Zergs have been falling into lately, forgetting the lessons Stefano taught us so many years ago about spread out and come from all sides. Oh no, Solar's mutas. Oh, he's just letting this map control get pushed back. The way Byun is doing this is beautiful though. Look at these spreadies across this map. Solar's had enough. He says, get out of here, dickhead. He's going to crash through that natural. A few Banelings into the 3rd mineral line would be great. That natural mineral line. Uh-oh. A lot of SCVs are going to go down. He'd love more than 1 mineral line though. I mean, that's nice. If we get a bit more, it'd be good. Ooh, gets a few Marines in a depot. Not bad, not bad. And I think more of that is what's going to win you this game. Byun gets knocked down to 42 SCVs. You got 86 drones. The 5th base is finally up as Solar. I think if Solar keeps doing stuff like that, he's going to do really well. Ling, Muta coming in this time. But Byun, he anticipates this Marine Thor going out the right side of the map to intercept this push. And that army kind of runs on past. Lings go in there. Mutas are going to dive on the turrets at the same time. Byun running into Solar's base on the top left. The Banelings and Lings clear up some of these units. A few drones go down, but look at those tanks shelling from the high ground. Byun making the most of that trade. Picks off a ton of the Banelings. On the other side, the Zerglings did get cleaned up. It says 26 SCVs there, but I think that's the SCVs from earlier. I don't think he'd rebuilt all those workers just yet. I think that killed worker count a little bit bugged there. Finally does drop off the map. Oh, the Ling Bane needs to defend. He's lost control of his 4th on the left of the map. That tank position was too good. And look at the way he's being baited in. Oh no, Solar just needs to buy another minute or 2 until his Ultras are ready. His Ultra Cavern just finished his 3-3. His Adrenal Glands, it's all on the way. But the way Byun has set up these fights, oh my god, he lifts to the high ground and the low ground at the same time. And look at the way he is pushing on multiple fronts. Ling Bane constantly coming in, and somehow he is always looking in every place at once. How is he always spreading his Marines backwards when there's fights going on in 3 places at once? Solar is going to be at wit's end. He's like, surely one of these engagements you can't be actively microing. Byun says, F that, I can look everywhere at once, I'm Micro Jackson. He splits his body in two, creates a simulacrum of himself, a friggin' doppelganger, to play on an alternate dimension computer, joins them into one man with the most perfect TvZ in the world. 3-1 advantage. Wow. He's down, but he's not out. He's got to win the next 3 games in a row. Up here in the top right. He had a good advantage in that last game, and I was talking about how he did not capitalize on it. He massed a lot of units. He didn't drone very hard. He also didn't use his unit count very effectively. He didn't spread creep very effectively with the massive army that he had either. So I think that was a really big, unfortunate missed opportunity for this guy. But as I said, it is hard to perform your best when you are up against someone who exerts as much pressure as his opponent. Let's see if he can rally and find his way back into this series. In the top right, it is Solar. And down in the bottom left, in the red, the Terran player is looking like he is just collecting speed and slowly becoming an unstoppable freight train. It is Byun. The champion of Terran looking back in form once again. I'd love to see another one of those Marine first builds. I do love that Marine drop plus 3 Hellion poke build. Very cool opening. I really should try that one on the ladder. Just nice. There's something about having Marines in a medevac to just kill overlords and push your opponent's vision back. It's like really simple to micro Marines in a medevac. Something I really enjoy. So hatch first into the gas and pool for Solar. Overlords running around checking for these proxy barracks. But of course not finding any proxy barracks. Not something Byun relies on anymore. I wonder if he could up his win rate, but it's just by mixing it in 1 in every 5 or 6 games. You know, get a little bit of panic out of his opponents. SCV will come across the map. Command center goes down here. Now, wait a second. He went Reaper into... Oh, wait. No, he went Marine. Sorry. Where's that Marine? Oh, there he is. He was hiding on the supply depot. There was something about where he was standing. I just didn't notice him there. So it's Marine into Factory into Reactor. So this is that build order from Oxide that I was hoping for. Second gas on the way there as well. Drone goes out to take the 3rd base. So it's normally drone into hatch into Overlord, but he went Overlord, drone, and now the 3rd hatchery. And I think it's because the Reaper's not there and the SCV's gone home. So he says, well, I'm not being blocked. The hatchery doesn't need to be rushed. More important to just keep my production going. So I'll go Overlord, drone, slight adjustment to the build order. Builds another drone. And does he get link speed now? 29 supply link speed by the looks of it. Bop, bop, bop. 31. Starts the 3rd queen even before link speed. All right. So it's a 31 link speed. And then from here, resumes normal fundamental rules of Zerg. Build drones non-stop, build overlords non-stop, spread creep, and then with the extra parts of the build being added on amongst it, things like making extra queens and so on. The Zergling sees what's up, says, I know what this build is. You're going to do a Marine drop. Byun says, how dare you scout me, you dirty little shit. Stay out of my house. Don't come back here. Burns that Zergling, scoops down and rips its arm off and starts eating it like a drumstick as he goes across the map. Because let's be real, people that drive Hellions are friggin' madmen. They are literally Mad Max characters. They're a whole bunch of war boys. It's the only person who'd get in a fucking flamethrower car in a futuristic war. They're like, yeah, here's a buggy we took off a fucking holiday resort. We just strapped a flamethrower to it. We figure it might do okay against some Zerg units. You're like, yeah, I'll take that. You're like, yeah, don't you want to hang out in your Space Marine armor with your giant gun? Man, a siege tank? Hang out inside a battlecruiser? Nope, we're going to drive the flamethrower car. Sounds like a great fucking strategy. Jesus. More lings are on the way here. So Solar with some good prep knows the drop's coming. So you have the lings waiting in the main and the queens to defend the Hellions out front. Behind this, of course... Oh, he's going to squeeze a Liberator out this time. I like that. The Overlord coming in to scout the follow-up. We'll probably see that, though. Oh, the Zerglings aren't in position. Solar, unprepared. That was really sloppy. He should not be losing Overlords or anything. Okay, he gets up there pretty quickly. Oh, but good micro from Byun. You see the way he did that? Picked up the Marines as they were getting low. 5 Zerglings for nothing. Also damaged the Overlord, so we might come back in to get that. Now, the Queens are well positioned. If Byun dives past, it could be worth but does decide to pull back there. The Marines redrop on the high ground. Going to go after that Overlord. And they should get it. Oh, they changed targets. That was a bad choice in my opinion. Picks off a few more Zerglings once again. A few more Zerglings added onto that kill count. Byun looking really good in these battle reports. Double Evo chamber going down way quicker for Solar. Solar wants to match the upgrades of Byun this time around. I actually think the Muta style was perfect. I just think he's not leveraging the advantages it gives correctly. That's me being a hypercritical caster. But I feel like going the quick 1-1 upgrades is I hate doing that against Byun. I think it's really hard to fight against those Marine pushes, even with equal upgrades. But who knows, maybe he does a really nice flank, a good surround. It's going to be more important than ever with no Muta control. Oh, the Queen! The Queen goes down. Nicely done by the Lib. Now, the Lib is going to fall, but not before it gets a few more kills. That Liberator got up to 4 kills before it went down. The Hellions come in and do a nice roast. All these Marines slowly healing up over here. They could move in and do a scan to get rid of these active tumors. Overall, as the dust settles, I think that looks okay. Okay for both sides. I mean, Solar didn't take critical damage. I think it's a little more than he would have liked. The important thing with this style is actually it's getting past 6 minutes and there's no 4th hatchery down. Okay. This is getting problematic. Solar, you need a 4th hatch and a macro hatch up. So the whole point of getting quick upgrades is that you're going to need to have an abundance of Ling Bane. But Solar's going back towards a 4 gas. I hope he doesn't take these gases, and I hope he takes a much faster extra hatcheries. Just the 4th is not enough. You need a macro hatchery and a 5th base to keep up production. Really super duper well off this style. And I've talked about giving up bases and how important that is before, and I still think it's something that Solar's missing in his play. Just taking a 4th hatch, no 5th hatchery. He's playing a 4 gas style, so I don't know what he's not going to be able to keep up production about a minute from now. Right now, he's okay, but that's not going to last. He's got to defend this base. But look at this, another bio tank push. He's setting up the counterattack much quicker this time. Oh, yes, go for it, Solar. Either flank this army or go for the 3rd base mineral line, one or the other. I'm not sure if the tank caught a glimpse there. The Banelings are here. Bane speed is miles away, though. And that gives Byun an opening. The Lings are coming in from behind. They're going to wrap around this. Oh, they're looking for the reinforce. He's biding his time. Solar's got to bring those Lings in right now. He's got to bring those Lings in. He cannot lose this hatchery. If Solar just comes around the back correctly, gets rid of the tank and traps the Marines so the Banelings can connect. Oh, the Queens go forward. He's going for it. These Lings did not come in from the correct angle, though. They need to wrap around the right. He needs to wrap around the right. He doesn't do it. Solar doesn't quite get the wraparound, and so the Marines do punish him. They take out a few more Banes and Lings than he would like. Nonetheless, though, Solar maintains control of his base, and so it is all right. It's totally fine. See the battle report that Byun is a little better off there, apparently. Well, that battle report's totally bugged in this game. What the hell? Thinks the medevacs and tanks are Terran units? Okay, ignore the battle report. It's broken as, dude. Byun still got the position, though. Oh, I feel like Solar needed to force him to siege up a bit further back. He hasn't got the rocks down just yet. Oh, actually, you know what? He's got more than enough. Oh, nice engage by Solar. Only some of those units get saved. The medevacs are going to try and bounce around, but look at his creep on the left of the map as well. You can see on the minimap it's going everywhere. The Queens are microing back. The Spore's moving over. Oh, he's going to get a few drones. So nicely done by Byun, making the most of a bad situation. But goodbye, medevac. Oh, that medevac will go down. Byun holds his ground to the last second there and guns down even more of these units. Units lost tab is in favor of Byun, but not by that much. As Lurkaden goes down. Oh, damn. Solar's going to play Lurkers. He's going up to 6 gas Lurkers. He's even taking a 7th gas. He's going to play some Lurker late game. Now, Solar was one of the first players to bring Lurkers into the meta in like 2018, maybe? There was like a GSL season where he just played Lurker Hydraling Bane. Just like it was a totally normal thing. He did it like one season in a few games and then didn't show it again for ages. Now, obviously, Reynor's brought Lurkers into the matchup in a big way, and it's almost a normal thing in the EU meta. Cyril, not a big fan of it. We haven't seen too many Korean players use Lurkers that much either. Dropping the main going to be a problem to deal with. Oh, he focuses down the Hydras, picks up the 5 Marines, and gets out of there. Behind this, Drilling Claws is on the way. The 4th Command Center is on the way. So it's not a quick transition for Byun, but because he's been trading somewhat effectively, keeps these workers off the bases, it's not bad. I do think Solar needs that Spore to move down and get another Spore up there. He's got to zone out that edge. Right now, Byun is getting too much done with a small force pressuring on the right of the map. 2-2 upgrades finishing at identical moments for each player. You can see there 2-2, I guess what, 15 seconds ahead for Zerg, but as long as a fight doesn't happen right now, effectively nothing. A single Viper, wait, 2 Vipers actually queuing up. They're going to be able to abduct the siege tanks, blinding cloud them, use parasitic bombs on the medevacs to wear them down, but oh, Solar a little out of position. He hasn't split his army. Oh, a big mistake. All the Terrans are split pushing these days, guys. This is the way Terran plays, but Solar got a little bit distracted by this high ground, low ground maneuver that Byun keeps doing. And because of that, he does lose a few drones, and it allows him to get pushed back. It means his creep is still not being replaced on the left of this map. Yeah, Solar is actually not able to keep pace with these drops, and this is a big mistake. I mean, part of it is that he doesn't really have any Hydras out right now, so he doesn't have any mobile anti-air, but look at this fight for Byun. Oh god, he took out a lot of Zerglings before picking up and leaving, and he just moves back down. He can kill that 5th base. He's got an army on the left as well. Byun is taking trades that are incredible here. Solar, I don't think he thought he could be touched, and instead he's just bleeding out on all sides. He's got no pressure on the other side of the map. He's got no area where he's moving first. Byun is initiating every engagement on his terms, disengaging on his terms. Solar finally says, get the fuck out of here, drops some blinding clouds, he's running forwards. His lurkers aren't doing that much though. He will take out most of the tanks. One still stands, and look at that. Double drop on the right is still doing damage. Solar just unable to get on top of this multi-prong. He moves all his Ling Bane over, and Byun just stims through the lurkers. He doesn't even give a shit. Adaptive Talons is not ready. They couldn't burrow in time. Byun should not be able to push at this stage in the game. He should not. And yes, there's mistakes Solar's making, but he's also not expecting Byun to be so fucking cavalier, and yet he is. Byun just will not stop shoving his way into these bases, and Solar has got to do a better job of splitting his army. The pace is just too high, and Solar's basics are starting to fall apart now. He's getting flustered, and he's not splitting his army correctly. His army keeps blobbing its way back and forth. He's not splitting enough units quickly enough, and it's creating big problems. Look at this. Byun's push on the left has never been evicted. Again, he goes to the high. He never got rid of this push. I talked about how he needed those spores to zone this angle out. He never did it. And Byun just working that angle on the right side of this map. Byun just stepped into a dueling match with Solar. Solar had a sawed-off shotgun. Byun pulled out a garrote and went, ha ha ha, did a fucking cartwheel, flipped over his head, landed behind him, and then just chopped his head off. Those wins, like half of those wins, he won at points where he wasn't really supposed to be able to even get an advantage, and yet he turned it not just from an advantage to, oh, I'm here, now I'm there. He's just darting in there, finding openings, and Solar fell apart. He could not keep up with the pressure. An incredible, incredible performance from Byun. GG, well played.